Hello, hello. Welcome to With Wisdom, embodying energy and embracing seasons. And we have come into the month of June. And I can't believe it, Gabby. The time just seems to be flying by so fast. As we enter summer, we're beginning to build up towards midsummer in mid-June. And the element of summer is fire. That's my flames. And a bit like the Adele song, there's a fire starting in our hearts right now, isn't there, Gabby? And it's beginning to reach a fever pitch and it's bringing us out of the dark. So, what's fire? How is fire showing up for you right now?
Oh, so welcome everybody again. And thank you, Sam, for being
Yes.
here with me today, nourishing and nurturing our fires. How is fire showing or asking to be expressed? Well, before coming to or yeah, before coming to that, you mentioned that this fire, no, that is in our hearts and starting to us to become out of the dark. We have
Mm,
been building on that fire if we reflect on that, no, on the silence of winter, then on the creativity and visioning and imagination of spring and collecting our wood for the wood fire if we are going to lighten it up. And in my case, it has been in this sense working with many different people like yourself in this project of With Wisdom and why we keep expressing ourselves through this channel. That's part of the fire that is calling to come to the world more and more.
mm,
And writing on my Substack, I'm about to publish another book with another kind of women. So my fire is about expression, about
mm,
bringing the wisdom I have gathered through the years, through my purification fire, the fire of my grief, of my losses, of my not knowing. I think that's a kind of fire many of us are sharing the world nowadays, not with the collective grieving in the individual. In the individuals and also in the communities, right? With all what is happening. So that's a kind of fire I'm bringing. It's a fire that I wish, or it's my intention, that is warming, illuminating, transformative, and a sparkling or igniting or
mm,
helping to remember other people their own fires. And
I can see that sparkle in you always. That sparkles there and it kind of shows through the way that you speak, in the way that you write. So yeah, that sparkle's absolutely there.
yeah, and that's also I was reflecting because I got the question. I think it was in Substack, no, setting up my account, and there was like a question about why do you write? What is purpose? What is your intention?
Mm,
And I have been reflecting on that, no, and on some point, of course, it's nice to be seen, like in this channel or in any way we are expressing ourselves and bringing that is more near to our hearts. Fire in Chinese medicine is linked to heart.
mm,
Um, it's of course a wish, a deep wish of ourselves to be seen, to be recognized by others, and I think that's a beautiful thing. It's not. It's a wonderful wish, but I
mm,
write because also because if this fire, like Adele is saying, is burning inside my heart and wishing me to bring out of the dark. If you keep that fire inside your heart, then you burn out.
yes,
Actually,
absolutely.
and that's what happened to me many
Mm,
years, right? That we are being called, each of us, to bring the most authentic expression of ourselves through our fires, and when we don't do it because of different things, no, because we thought that our fire was meant to be expressed in another way, then you can burn out, like I did.
mm,
And I'm now trying after this process of okay, I try a way is how I can bring together all the pieces I am, because this fire that burned me out also created like a beautiful island like Hawaii. We can
mm.
think about a volcano being
Or
here.
Iceland, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
being a distraction, but it's yeah, it can change and shape the landscape in a way. At the beginning it can be very painful, like the fire of loss and grieving, or losing your job, or divorcing, or leaving your job because you don't find, or you are not connecting anymore with your heart. That's what's a difficult decision for myself. But now I'm more becoming in this scene that my fire created this beautiful not island, this beautiful land. I'm calling islands because there's Hawaii and
Yes, and
Iceland,
Iceland.
which people find fascinating, right? In Iceland,
Yes.
you can like, I have been seeing that besides all the thermal waters and all these things, you can like cook bread in the soil,
Mm.
right? So it's so
Mm.
rich. We think that chaos and all these processes of deconstructing ourselves are painful, and they are completely pulverizing what we are, but maybe they are creating a different landscape. So yeah, that's many
Mm.
things we can think about the fire, not how shapes change form. In the case of minerals, making glass, or changing the metal to tools, or cooking and transforming ingredients in delicious foods, or keeping us warm, safe, or celebrating these big fires of summer in many regions that they light up and celebrate. So
That fire, I mean, there's so many different ways there. You talked about how fire can be associated with summer in particular. And I was just thinking, as you were talking about how it's for you, how it was for me. And at the moment, I would say it's very much around keeping the fires burning for me.
mhm,
So I'm looking for that kind of perseverance and persistence, that small flame that's there all the time, that is being cultivated.
mhm,
And when you're starting a fire, if you're, when you were learning to build a fire as a small child, on a camping trip, and you have to kind of blow a little bit to let the flames grow. But if you blow too much, you blow it out.
mhm,
So I feel that for me is summer. There's something around keeping things going, just like for this summer for me right now,
mhm,
is being is persevering and being persistent to keep that flame of creativity, and that is the flame for me. This is the creative. I'm pointed towards my heart, and I think that's very much a sort of heart, a place for fire to sort of reside as well. In fact, in that lyric, what was the lyric? I had it up on. It's fire started in my heart. So there's that fire there, that creative flame that I think we have in the way that we have set up with wisdom.
mhm,
And with wisdom, we'll run all the way through the year. And it's like we are kind of keeping that creative flame going through
mhm,
the work that we're doing with each other, that other people might be able to gather some resource for themselves so that they can keep their creative flame going
mhm.
throughout the year. So it's like we're doing this for ourselves as a resource, and we're also offering it freely to other people as a resource that they could use to inspire them in their creative endeavor.
Yeah, and when I'm listening to you, it comes to myself, my mind, the word love. I think
Mm,
it's an act of love in times of darkness, because it's not
mm,
a secret to anybody that we are going through stormy times, no? And maybe we are into the fires of transformations of humanity. And for me, in sharing this resource or these talks, and posting it in YouTube or whatever other channel we find to go through, goes beyond a display of my light. Look, of course, I want to be seen, recognized, appreciated, and being part of a community. But
mm,
it's like, okay, I feel called, and from what I know from yourself, is in these times, I feel called to put out there something that may remind someone that there's also light. There's
mm,
also fires that are not only fires that are willing to cause harm and to
and
cause
destroy.
pain, destroy, but destroy, I mean, with the purpose of really just doing harm and being evil, because there's a lot of evil in the world, but there's also fires like ours that are coming out of love.
Mm.
And we are all called to nowadays to remember uh, we can be as a collective with all our diverse fires. There was a Uruguayan, I think, writer called Eduardo Galeano that wrote a piece called like the Sea of Small Fires, no? And it says in this seas of small fires, there are many, many different fires, but we need all these kind of different fires. It's not
Mm.
like your fire is better than mine or whatever. We are in a time we are called to find this fire that is started in your heart and calling you out of the dark. And that
Yeah.
I think that's a beautiful call that Adele is making in her song, and we are calling you out today. What is the fire
Yes.
starting in your heart and calling you out of the dark?
Do you know what? I think we should pause there. That's
Yeah.
such a lovely, lovely question to end with. What is calling you out of the dark into summer?
Yeah.
Just pausing, just to kind of like let that land with our watchers and listeners.
Yeah. So thank you very much for your fire, Sam, and we see each other next time to keep
Yes.
reflecting on the fire. Bye bye.
Bye.